begin with what's been happening in Karnataka a week after those breakfast meetings filled with smiles and hugs, widely seen as nothing but damage control exercise amid the ongoing power tussle. Karnataka politics is heating up again. The Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has now dropped a major political hint, telling the people to prepare for change in the state in the coming days. What is he hinting at? He says, prepare for change. In a carefully crafted message that is loaded with political subtext, Shivakumar said, our lives are not permanent, but what we leave behind is permanent, adding that leaders must measure their words and let their work speak. Listen in to D.K. Shivakumar's latest hint.
ದಿನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ರೂಪವನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ತುಂಬಿಸಿ ಒಂದು ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನ ಪರ್ವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಜ್ಜಾಗೋಣ. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬದುಕು ಶಾಶ್ವತ ಅಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗುವ ಕೆಲಸಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ಶಾಶ್ವತ. ಮಾತು ನಿಧಾನವಾಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಕಾಯಕ ಪ್ರಧಾನವಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಿರಿಯರು ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಹುಟ್ಟುವಾಗ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಲಿ ಕೈನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬರ್ತೇವೆ. ಆದರೆ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಅನೇಕ ಪಾಪ ಪುಣ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಬದುಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ಗುಡ್ಡೆಗಳನ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ದೇವರು ವರನೂ ಕೊಡುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಶಾಪನೂ ಕೊಡುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ. ಆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ.
My colleague Neha Hebale joins us on the broadcast with the details. And Neha, the Karnataka tussle featured in the talks with the High Command, with the High Command also being clear that the image of the party is at stake in Karnataka, instructing the leaders, don't make any statements that can embarrass the party. But the man at the center of this entire power tussle, D.K. Shivakumar, does it again. What is he hinting at? What big change is he talking about?
Well, Pratibha, cryptic messages being shared here by the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister as they went on to share that stage at a government event in Hassan district of Karnataka. Now, what, of course, is the Chief Minister hinting at when he says that our government is the only one that's fulfilled all of its promises? I'm not a man who generally gives his word, but when I do, I make sure I keep them. Now, of course, on the other hand, there's the Deputy Chief Minister here who's going on to suggest that it's time that, people, of course, get ready for shaping up of change and transformation. Of course, all of this comes even as you have the High Command in Delhi, K.C. Venugopal, Sonia Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge and others, of course, who reportedly held a meeting yesterday confirming that Karnataka also was discussed in this meeting. Was K.C. Venugopal also, who went on to suggest that they've not yet arrived at any kind of decision, but that they are likely to be discussing this after the Ramleela Maidan event on the 14th. This is what our sources also have confirmed, but we'll really have to keep an eye out and see how the next couple of days now are going to pan out, given that this is going to be an issue that the BJP would be raking up now in the assembly as they pass the no confidence motion.
Okay, all right, Neha, do stay with us. I'll come back to you in just a moment, because the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has also issued a strong defense of his government's performance amid this power tussle that's playing on word power. He went on to say that he usually does not give his word, but when he does, he always acts on it. Siddaramaiah declaring that no government in the history of Karnataka has delivered on the promises the way the current government has. He said people themselves are aware of this track record. Remember, the Chief Minister's remark come amid the growing political chatter within the state and signals of changing equations inside the ruling party.
ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ, ನಾನು ಮಾತು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮಾತು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾವುದಾದರೂ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಇತಿಹಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮಾತಿನಂತೆ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಬಹುಶಃ ನಿಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನೀವು ರಾಜಕೀಯಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ.
This is already been observed by the High Command. So let them take a decision. I think they held a meeting yesterday, and I don't know whether they have taken any decision, but definitely the General Secretary organization, GSO, Shri Venugopal, has made a statement yesterday. Yes, there will be further discussions and resolve whatever the issues are.
So, Neha, if DK Shivkumar makes a statement, then that is responded in equal measure by the Chief Minister as well. So, despite this diktat by the High Command, clearly the two leaders who are involved in this power tussle are going at each other and in public making these statements that are embarrassing the party. What is it that you're picking up in Karnataka? Are there indications that there could be a change? Because after the breakfast meetings, there has been a lull in Karnataka.
Well, that's right, Pratibha. You've been in the state yourself also during the time of these breakfast meetings and the crisis and the firefighting that was taking place. And evidently, statements that came in fact, from the Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister also right after that second breakfast meeting, going on to somewhere suggest that possibly, there could be a change of guard. This is not us saying it, but sources within the Congress party, statements coming in from the Chief Minister and from his deputy also now going on to suggest this. Well, of course, at the end of the day, all the action would be in Delhi, where the High Command would have to hold multiple rounds of meeting before taking this final call and clearing the air on the change of guard issue in the state.
Okay, all right. What's going to happen next? That's a big question. Neha, you spoke about the breakfast meetings, yes, after which now in Delhi is when the next meeting will take place. The High Command is going to decide on what next. Until then, the mystery around it all still continues. The two leaders are continuing to make statements against each other. It seems to be hinting very clearly that there could be more happening in Karnataka. But for now, the High Command is very clearly told the Karnataka leaders, don't make statements that embarrass the party. All right, with that, let's shift our attention now. The Tamil Nadu Deputy Chief Minister Udayanidhi Stalin has done it again. The Congress ally has triggered a political flashpoint by referring to the Deepam controversy in the Murugan temple as an attempt by the BJP to use religion as a political tool. Viewers, he made no mention of devotees or the sentiments of the devotees, a point that has now escalated the debate. Listen in.
இன்னைக்கு திருப்பரங்குன்ற மதுரையில் என்ன நடந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது என்று தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்கள் பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. உங்க அத்தனை பேருக்கு தெரியும். ஒன்றிய பாஜக அரசு மதத்தை வைத்து எப்படியாவது தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள ஏன்னா மற்ற எந்த வழியிலும் தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள தங்களை அனுமதிக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்கன்னு தெரிஞ்சு இன்னைக்கு மதத்தை வைத்து அரசியல் செய்து எப்படியாவது தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள கால் வைத்து விடலாமா என்று யோசித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள், முயற்சி செய்து கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்களுக்கெல்லாம் ஒன்றே ஒன்று சொல்வேன். முத்தமிழ் கலைஞருடைய உடன்பிறப்புகள் கடைசி உடன்பிறப்பு இருக்கிற வரைக்கும், கருப்பு சிவப்பு கரவேட்டி கட்டியிருக்க கடைசி தொண்டன் இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் சங்கி கூட்டத்தை தமிழ்நாட்டுக்குள்ள என்றைக்கும் நாம அனுமதிக்க மாட்டோம். தமிழ்நாட்டு மக்களும் அதற்கு அனுமதிக்க மாட்டாங்க.
Now, you'd remember this is not the first time that Udayanidhi Stalin has quoted controversy. Remember previously as well, he had drawn national outrage after he called for the eradication of Sanatan Dharma, comparing it to diseases like dengue and malaria. Then again, in November this year, Udayanidhi Stalin had stirred another storm by calling Sanskrit a dead language. The DMK netas have added fuel to the controversy. The DMK MP Kanimori has called the ancient Deepatun stone pillar a mere survey stone. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has said that Madurai shouldn't be a temple city, but instead should be an industrial hub.
சங்கவைத்து தமிழ் வளர்த்த நகரம் கோயில் நகரம்னு பேர் ஒட்டு வச்சுக்கிட்டா போதுமா? எனக்கு இந்த மதுரை தொழில் நகரமாகவும் புகழ் பெறணும் என்பதுதான் என்னுடைய ஆசை லட்சியம்.
எந்த மதத்திற்கும் சம்பந்தமே இல்லாத ஆங்கிலேயர் காலத்திலே வைக்கப்பட்ட நில அளவைக்கல் சர்வே ஸ்டோன், அதுல ஒரு தீபத்தை ஏற்ற வேண்டும் என்று ஒரு கோரிக்கை வைக்கப்பட்டு இந்து மதத்திற்கு எதிராக இந்து மக்களின் மனநிலையை உண்மையிலேயே புண்படுத்தக்கூடிய வகையிலே கோயிலுக்கும் அதற்கும் சம்பந்தமே இல்லாத ஒரு கல்லிலே தீபம் ஏற்றப்பட வேண்டும் என்று பிரச்சனைகளை உருவாக்குவதற்காகவே ஒரு முயற்சி எடுக்கப்பட்டு செய்யப்பட்ட போது நீதிமன்றம் தலையிட்டு அங்கே தீர்ப்பு வழங்கி இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழலிலே தேவையில்லாத வகையிலே இப்பொழுது திரு நீதியரசர் சுவாமிநாதன் அவர்கள் ஒரு தேவையில்லாமல் தலையிட்டு அரசை மீறி ஒரு தீர்ப்பை அவர் வழங்கியிருக்கிறார், கட்டளைகளை பிறப்பித்திருக்கிறார். தமிழ்நாடு காவல்துறையை தாண்டி அவர்களுடைய கட்டுப்பாட்டிலே இருக்கக்கூடிய சூழலை எல்லாம் உடைத்து எரியக்கூடிய விதமாக தீர்ப்பை வழங்கி மத்திய போலீஸை அங்கே அனுப்பி அங்கே தீபம் ஏற்றப்படக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழலை உருவாக்க வேண்டும் என்ற ஒரு சூழ்நிலையை உருவாக்கி இதை பயன்படுத்தி கொண்டு பிஜேபி அங்கே மத கலவரத்தை உருவாக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு சூழலை நாம் பார்த்து கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய பொதுமக்களுக்கு.
My colleague Dharani is joining us on the phone line with the details. So Dharani, on one hand, Udaynithi Salan claims that this has nothing to do with devotees. This is a BJP propaganda. On the other hand, the DMK MP Kanimori going on to say that the Deepam that the devotees wanted to light had no religious connection whatsoever, and it is nothing but merely a survey stone. Take us through the details of the entire controversy and the DMK's reaction to it.
Well, the petitioners in this case, they wanted to light the holy lamp on Deepathoon, which is an ancient stone pillar located at the top of Tirupparanguntam Hills in Madurai. So for the past 100 years, the holy lamp was not lit on the Deepathoon. It is usually lit on a spot called Uchipalaya Temple, but this year the petitioners wanted the holy lamp to be lit there. The Deepathoon is located just a few meters away from a dargah. For that reason, the state government has been feeling that it will create a communal tension. It will create a communal, tensions if this is allowed to happen. That is why the state government has been refusing to entertain the request of the petitioners right from day one. And of course, we saw the kind of justifications coming in from Kanimori Karunanidhi and Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. In fact, today Chief Minister is in Madurai to participate in various government events. He says that there is an investors meet happening in Madurai today, in which a 91 worth almost over 30,000 crores they're being signed, and this is the kind of politics that the DMK wants to do. The DMK wants to do politics that is centering development, but on the other hand, the BJP is looking at a politics that is centering around a divisive mindset, is what Chief Minister M.K. Stalin told. But he also goes on to say that the people of Tamil Nadu will plainly reject the BJP's version of the politics, and that the people will only choose the DMK's version of the politics again and again. And of course, Deputy Chief Minister Udaynithi Salan has also hit out at the BJP, telling that as long as the last cadre of DMK is alive, Sanghis cannot enter Tamil Nadu, and all the evil attempts by Sanghis to create religious divisions in the state will not fare well. But the BJP is refusing to let this issue die.
So the political flashpoint is continuing, and it's only going to build up ahead of the elections. In fact, the opposition in Tamil Nadu has hit back at the DMK. The BJP has said that there's nothing wrong with an Ayodhya-style rule in Tamil Nadu, while the AIDMK has condemned the state's move to prevent devotees from lighting the Deepam at the hilltop. In fact, the AIADMK has said that ignoring the court order has now set a dangerous precedent in Tamil Nadu.
இந்தியாவில் தானே இருக்கு. அயோத்தி இங்கிலாந்துல ஐரோப்பால இல்லையே. அயோத்தியில் இந்தியா தானே இருக்கு. அல்ல அயோத்தி மாதிரி வரதில்ல தப்பதில்லை. நம்ம எல்லாம் பார்த்துறோம். ராமருடைய ஆட்சியை பத்தி கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கோம். ஆக அயோத்தி மாதிரி இருந்தாலும் சரி, எப்படியானாலும் தேசிய ஜனநாயக கூட்டணி ஆட்சி ராமருடைய ஆட்சி போல வர வேண்டும் என்று நாங்கள்
DMK, the elected government, rather than playing the role of a moderator and ensuring peace and harmony among religion, is playing the role of religious divide in the state of Tamil Nadu. It's so unfortunate. The custodian of peace, the custodian of law and order is acting at the interest of someone to please someone. It clearly indicates that DMK has started to play vote bank politics based on religion, based on caste. It's really unfortunate, and this incompetence of this government is going to cost big in the upcoming elections.
The matter is now pending before the Supreme Court, with the apex court yet to decide on the state government's challenge to the High Court order, which initially allowed the devotees to light a deepam at the ancient Deepatun pillar. And my colleague Dharani continues to stay live with us. So, Dharani, ahead of the elections, it's a big political flashpoint that we are seeing play out. And unfortunately for the devotees, while they were waiting there as well, they couldn't light the deepam. What next? What has the state government said in their plea to the Supreme Court?
Plea to the Supreme Court, the state government is again citing, the possibility of a communal tension as the reason. They say that this Deepatun, the ancient stone pillar, it is located just a few meters away from the Sikandar Dargah on the Tirupparangunram hills, and allowing the petitioners and their supporters to light the holy lamp on the Deepatun might lead to communal tensions in Tirupparangunram. Is one of the key reasons cited by the state government in its petition. And they also go on to say that for the past 100 years, the holy lamp is being lit at the Uchipaliyara Mandapam and not the Deepatun. So this is not a customary practice. And what is the need for the petitioner to all of a sudden, why is the petitioner wanting to resume this habit all of a sudden after 100 years is the question that is being posed by the state government in its plea. So of course the matter is awaiting a numbering. So once this matter is being heard by the Supreme Court, then we'll get to know what is the stance of the Supreme Court judges. But as far as the Madras High Court is concerned, both a single judge bench and a division bench, they've been giving green signals to the petitioners, and the state government has been facing setbacks one after the other in the Madras High Court. But let's wait and see what the Supreme Court has to say on this.
Okay, all right. Dharani, thank you for joining us with all those details. We're shifting our attention now. Viewers, amid the political row in Bengal over the Babri, a fresh development has now emerged from Telangana as well, where a Muslim group in Greater Hyderabad has announced plans to build what it is calling a Babri Memorial. Now, the group says that it has decided to go ahead with the project and will soon share details on how the memorial will be constructed.
एक बात और आपको कहूं कि जब भी फाउंडेशन स्टोन होगा तो उसमें ये सब धर्म के लोग इसमें रहेंगे। ये कोई नफरत की जगह नहीं रहेगी, मस्जिद मोहब्बत की जगह है और उसमें तमाम धर्मों को हम बुलाएंगे। एक बात और आपको कहूं कि जब भी फाउंडेशन स्टोन होगा तो उसमें ये सब धर्म के लोग इसमें रहेंगे। ये कोई नफरत की जगह नहीं रहेगी, मस्जिद मोहब्बत की जगह है और उसमें तमाम धर्मों को हम बुलाएंगे।
My colleague Shamit is joining us over the phone line with the details. And Shamit, a big controversy being sparked off with a Muslim group announcing that there will be a Babri memorial. What are the details?
Well, Pratibha, this is not the first time Mustaq Malik or activists from one of the banned organizations making these kind of statements. And recently also, after on December 5th, Dharna was staged in the Dargaisha Eidgah, and there massive women also staged a protest demanding that this Babri Masjid should be constructed again. However, this Mustaq Malik from the Muslim Tehreek-e-Shabban has made this comment stating that Babri Memorial will be built in the Hyderabad city. So till now, everyone was making statements that Babri Masjid should be rebuilt there in Uttar Pradesh, in Ayodhya. But now here, Babri Memorial will be built here in the Hyderabad city is what this Tehreek-e-Muslim Shabban President Mustaq Malik has stated. So immediately after that, this statement has drawn massive criticism, and BJP has come down heavily, stating that this is how the ruling government is encouraging these people who are making such comments and statements, and we will be not allowing anyone, in fact, not just the Tehreek-e-Shabban president, but not just him, but anyone will not be allowed to build the Babri Masjid or memorial in the Hyderabad city is what BJP leaders have stated.
Okay, in fact, we have reactions coming in from the BJP as well. Let's listen in.
Today, the Bharatiya Janata Party has conducted Mahadharna at Indira Park, Dharna Chowk. Thousands of Bharatiya Janata Party workers have come here to offer Dharna, and the participation by leaders and also the workers with a huge numbers. The Congress government in Telangana has completed 2 years, and in these 2 years, the Congress party has not honored its own promises which they made during the elections. The students are suffering.
And well, another big honor bestowed upon Group Editor-in-Chief of Times Now and Times Now Navbharat, Navika Kumar, a proud moment for the entire Times Network family. At the Armed Forces Flag Day ceremony held at Manekshaw Centre, Delhi, Group Editor-in-Chief Navika Kumar was honoured for her tireless efforts in support of armed forces and serving as an inspirational role model in the field of journalism. She received the honour from the Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and the Delhi LG VK Saxena. With a career spanning over 3 decades, Navika Kumar has created a name that India trusts, a name that keeps India first. We thank you once again, viewers, as without your support, this wouldn't have been possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite somebody I personally look up to. Please welcome on stage Navika Kumar, the Group Editor-in-Chief, Times Now and Times Now Navbharat. Please welcome her with a wonderful round of applause. We would like to felicitate India's one of the most illustrious journalists and a trailblazer in her profession, the first woman ever to head 2 news channels in India. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think more than anything else, this woman on a mission needs no permission. She and the Times Network have always stood by the Indian Armed Forces. The network has chronicled the courage, the sacrifice and the determination that the men and women of armed forces have displayed in defending our incredible India. The counter-terrorism operations in J&K, the surgical strikes, the Balakot air strikes, and most recently the Operation Sindoor. Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite...